Engage and beat. Nice defense there on McDaniels, who's looking for a call. Good luck. Simmons tracking it down and somehow providing a finish. Come good soon enough, and sure enough, he did. The fake hit paid off. Simmons behind the back to Embiid. Joel getting his first bucket of the game. Embiid has already missed a couple of threes. There's Green in for a three. Got it. So Danny Green hits the ball, sneaking up there, trying to pass Joel's attention. He can do it. He gets to go. He ties that turn. So perhaps it's going to get out of the batter's box a little bit.
Welcome everybody. Half Court Heat Sixers post-game show. Tony J. Socatillo, Andre Johnson, Al Griffin. And we got to get right into this right off the bat. And I got to say one thing before we even go into this, okay? For everybody on the T line, okay? Everybody on the Twitter feed that wants to bury Joel Embiid right now, do me a favor. Take all your Sixers gear off, burn it in the freaking trash, and get off the app, man. Come on. This dude has a torn meniscus, playing his ass off, and we're going to question his effort. People are really going to question his effort, right? And I'm losing my mind. I just got to get off of it because, listen, I understand. This is a playoff game. You lose playoff games, like it happens. We were still in the game, and we played like ass in the second half. They gave us everything they had, and it was only 3 points better when our leader was on one leg. So I'm sorry, Al, Andre, whoever wants to take over, I'm just completely distraught that I'm looking at the fans of Philadelphia. It's why we get a bad friggin' name. This is why we get a bad name. This dude goes to battle for every single one of us, and we're going to kill him for a set one half? I mean, come on, man. I had it. I had enough.
It's the lack of knowledge. That's what it is. It's the lack of knowledge that you would even part your lips to say anything about this man that has put this team on his back the whole season. The whole season. To even say you just, all right, next game. That's all you do. You don't go on Twitter and Facebook and all this other stuff and have something to say. I just heard this one guy say, this guy, Embiid played like doo-doo. Dude, really? You really just came and someone said Embiid played like doo-doo? Really?
It's ridiculous. Absolutely, Andre. I think we're all in the same boat when it comes to Joel Embiid right now. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I totally turned Twitter off, man.
You have to.
Listen, you're talking about somebody with a torn meniscus, played 36 minutes, gave you 17 points and 21 rebounds in 36 minutes on a torn meniscus. Are you kidding me, man? I don't even like entertain half the stuff I see about Joel Embiid. First of all, he already got jerked for the MVP. We all know he should have been MVP. And then he turns around to give you 36 on a torn meniscus.
And don't forget second team all defensive on top of that.
Yeah, I literally don't even entertain any Joel Embiid slander. Like I said, take that and you can just bag it up in a ball of crap and throw it in the toilet.
I can't. And hey, Wayne, the first time I ever see you on this feed, right? And what's wrong with me saying that this game was on Joel? Are you kidding me? Seriously, do you play basketball? Have you had a torn leg? If this game is on Joel Embiid, let's go through the box score and see everything else that happened in this game. And this is the problem. This is absolutely ridiculous.
That's where we get that. Well, that's the issue. You have to go through the box score. You got to go through all the statistical categories. We have all five guys in double figures. That's number one. Number two, we literally led in almost every statistical category for the entire game. Maybe the only one we didn't really lead in is obviously free throw percentage. But if you go to the stats and you go to the box, we led in every statistical category. And not to mention, the Hawks outscored us like 54-38 in the whole second half. 54 to 30 in the whole second half. And a lot of those was missed opportunities that we had.
Yes, it wasn't anything that they did.
Because they weren't playing that good either. I mean, they was only shooting 30% from the free throw line. I mean, from 3-point line. We were shooting like 39%, something crazy like that. Then on top of it, we each both had. I mean, if you go down, you got to look at the stats and all that before you make that type of comment. Go check out the stats. The Sixers lost the game more than Atlanta won the game.
Absolutely.
I agree. And what I will say, and again, Wayne, let me just tell you something. I'm very heated right now, and it's all due respect, man. I'm not, listen, honestly, I'm not trying to talk to anybody's intelligence or anything like that. I'm just passionate right now. But what I will tell you is 4 of 20 shooters did that. Okay, but let me ask you something. 420, what other player on the 76ers is going to command that much attention on the offensive side of the ball? I don't care if he was 4 for 20. He still was commanding double teams, which means other guys still have to make shots. So you take him out and that double team goes away, and now your spacing on the floor absolutely goes away. So 4 for 20, that's why he's an MVP. Al, I know you're a box score guy. How many rebounds do you have? 22, 21, 22, right? Nobody's bringing that up, right?
21.
Nobody's bringing that up. No, 21. No. I mean, come on, man. This is a playoff game.
He had 21, and how about he missed that last shot? But how about Ben should have got
it? Bring it down, Al.
If he would have grabbed it, poured it back down, and then went back and rammed it, we would have been winning. So how about that? Nobody wants to mention that. They just want blaming B for every. Come on, Wayne. Come on, you got to have a little bit more knowledge than to just say. The famous thing in Philly: blame one person when we lose. That's all they look for. Who thought it was and why we lost. Come on, you got to be a little bit more to the table.
Here's the thing. I know you know me. I like to pull people back so they won't jump. Okay. As a fan, I totally understand Wayne's point. If he's our star, the centerpiece, I get all that. But what we can't have is, again, we can't have Simmons only scoring 11, especially in a situation where Atlanta was in foul trouble and they were already over the limit. And when they were already over the limit, I was like, why are we not being more aggressive going to the basket? If you were over the limit early, it still was like at the 7-minute mark. So I'm like, and I think they even mentioned it on TNT, one of the announcers. I'm like, I still don't understand why we are not driving to the basket. Get to the basket and get 2 free throws. They weren't doing hack-a-bin. If they weren't doing hack-a-bin, we might as well should have took advantage of it. The Doc made the adjustment not putting them in the game at the end because they knew they were either going to foul us or they're going to let the clock run out. So to Wayne's point, as a passionate fan, he's just on the other side of being passionate. That's all. And I get it. And to be honest with you, but I just need that energy. If you're going to have that type of energy, put the energy where it's due. Put it on the 11 points that you scored 11 points the entire game. I'm still not understanding that. I know you were on the cusp of a triple-double. However, you took the L. If you now 11 points with the W, I'm talking a whole different story. 11 points with the L, and you had an opportunity to, get to the basket freely and easily, and you gave it up 3 times that I can mention in the game. Like, go to the basket. What are you doing? You were open in the lane. But that's the same argument, and that's the same point we've been making from day one. So it's not like I'm surprised. I just want if I'm going to take the L, give me the L with you being aggressive.
Let's talk about 2 quick things. One, Shake should have stepped right into that 3 and buried it. He shouldn't have waited for Steph to come off the pick. And 2, I don't like that he took Ben out. Ben could have rushed the ball up the floor and set a solid pick for Curry to come off of that screen if that's what you wanted him to do. And then they would either foul Ben trying to get through it, or Steph would have had a clear shot. I don't like taking Ben out in that because he is an excellent pick. He is an excellent person coming off when you're setting picks for Seth or Danny or whoever's coming off that pick. What do you guys think of that?
I agree with the Seth point. I mean, I agree with the Shake point. I think Shake had the open shot. He had more separation than waiting for Seth. I agree with that. But the Ben thing, I kind of get, because I think he knew at that point he wanted as many shooters on the floor as possible. And I think that,
shooters.
Right. I think that was the biggest. I think that was it. I think he knew he obviously needed a three. Ben's not going to give it to him. And even if, like you said, I agree with the screen, but I think it was like, look, we need somebody to just get up there and take the shot. And I think he really wanted Shake to take that shot, to be honest with you.
100% he should have took that.
Yeah, listen, that was wide open, man. Wide open.
He had the green light.
Right. And if he missed it, so what? But what if you had made it? I don't understand. We waited there like 4 seconds minimum for Curry to come off the curl. Come on. I agree. I do.
See, I've seen so many things. I've seen so many terrible things in that game, right? Meaning from both teams.
Yes.
From both teams. I see McMillan with a bad rotation coaching job, in my personal opinion. And I saw Doc with the weirdest lineup I've ever seen all year. When he had Ben, the bench, and Tobias.
Yeah.
He had 4 guards in there with Tobias. I said, this is awkward. But I guess it is what it is, right? And then on top of it, the Atlanta Hawks didn't have, I mean, their supporting cast didn't have a stellar game. I mean, you had the starting 5. You had only 2 guys that had like 20 points. The rest of the starting 5 was like 14 and 16 and 18. Collins had 3 dunks. So what? He really didn't make an impact on the game. In fact, Shake, and it is funny, I was just about to say that. Shake already had the green light from game 2 or 3. You got the green light, Ross. That's why you're in the rotation. Because you got the green light. The lid came off. We don't know what Shake was doing, bro. I mean, that's a great question. We don't know.
You stepped right into that if you miss it, so what? We lost anyway. Shoot the fuck. I mean, I don't want you to go crazy, but shoot the ball. Shoot the ball. I'm screaming at this street, waiting for Seth to come off the
emoji on it.
Yeah. No, that was what we needed out of freeze, but he didn't freeze that time. But no, listen. Let me say this, and I hope Wayne's still watching. Listen, Wayne, I do, because now I feel bad. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. I right before here, I was on Twitter and I was watching people just bury Joel. I hold him accountable. Yes, I agree. Understood. But I'm talking about the idiot. I was working on the idiots that are saying this dude shouldn't be MVPs. Trash. It's got like ridiculous comments. So I apologize for going right at your throat. That's kind of the way I am. But you just bad timing, man. I appreciate you tuning in and keep bringing it, man. We love it, because you are right. Because there was a point in that game when I was like, if Joel's really hurt, really bad, maybe he's hurt. And I don't know. I'm not saying he shouldn't have finished the game, but maybe he should have got taken out because he lost his cool a little bit. You've seen him. He wasn't in the right mindset. That I will say. But let's talk about, and I know there's a ton of comments, and we're going to get to them, but I know somebody mentioned this. Let's talk about Tobias Harris again. Coming up small. Again. Sure. Like nobody, I don't understand, because in the first 7 minutes of the game, he was aggressive, taking the ball to the hole, going down low, and then he just disappeared. Yeah, he was throwing up garbage shots, wasn't going to posting up, wasn't taking. Andre, what the hell was going on with Tobias?
So if we're going to start picking apart each player, and we can spend all night picking apart each player, but Tobias resorted back to regular season Tobias and not. I mean, he's on his career average. He had 20 and 5 tonight. He had 20 points, 5 rebounds, which was his regular season. But this is the playoffs. You got to turn the light switch on. You got to give us the 28 or the 26 or the 27 we know you can give us. We know you can give us. And you were scrolling through the comments, and there was one time where I was a little perplexed, and I saw it on there with somebody wrote turnovers, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
As 12. Bad as Atlanta played, They only had 3 turnovers going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they had 4
Yeah, but
total.
going into the fourth, they only had.
Yeah.
So when they only had 3 turnovers going into the fourth quarter, they with the exception of obviously the misses and the just bad shots, because I'm sorry, Atlanta looked terrible today. They got the W, but it was an ugly win, right? So they go with 3 turnovers going in the fourth quarter, bruh. That was efficient basketball in a sense, because they're like, well, we're not giving the ball up, so we can hang around. The Sixers let's not forget, the Sixers were up by 18 at one point.
Right.
Up by 18 on the road in game 4 of a playoff game, bro. That's when you start having to manage the game. You don't take your foot off the brake, off the gas. You go for the jugular. You go for the kill shot. You don't put your bench in with that lineup. I was like, why is this lineup in here? And they chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And they chipped away. They didn't even chip away by making a crazy run. They chipped away because we were just missing shots. We missed the shots. And they were like, oh, well, they missing shots. We might as well. And we're making shots. It was a real simple game. I just think Doc could have did a better job with the rotation. I think knowing that those guys weren't giving the ball up at home. 3, come on, man. That's almost a flawless game. 3 turnovers going into the fourth quarter. That's almost unheard of. It's almost unheard of. That's why I said. That's why I made the comment. Atlanta won the game more. Atlanta won the game more than we lost the game, because we could have. We had plenty of chances to go when we were up by 5. We had plenty of chances to go up. We were just missing shots. Up by 8, up by 7, the game should have even been this close. But we gave them life, and when we gave them life, that was it for us.
12 turnovers to do that. 12 turnovers to 3. Yeah. Like you said, and 4 at the end. But you can't get a ball. I said that was one of the big keys. One of the big keys is you're trying to win this last road game. You can't get a ball up 12 times and want to keep your lead. We should have closed them out in the first 6 minutes of the third quarter, and the game should have been over. That's what should have happened. The game should have been over after the first 6 minutes of the third quarter, because we'd have been like, God damn, we can't beat these guys. And they would have gave up.
But you got Capella with he had 12 and 13. Capella had 12 points, 13 rebounds, man. Like, to me, mediocre at best game.
Yep.
Mediocre at best game. They have no answer. Capella is a shell of himself that he used to be.
Stop.
But you have Bogdanovic at 22 and 5. The guy had 22 points, 5 boards. To me, not a breakout game. We know he's capable of scoring from the 3. He's not giving you low post points. He's killing you from the outside. A lot of these guys, we're clearly a better team. That's the frustration that I think Wayne and the guys are feeling as fans. We're clearly a better team, and at any given time, we can go on a run. We can go on a run and put a team away. And now we're looking at these teams. We're looking at Joe and Tobias and Ben. And we're like, yo, come on now. Like, I can't even really go at Joe with a torn meniscus. It's kind of tough because the guy's out there giving you 21 and 17, bro. Exactly. 17 points, 21 rebounds on a torn meniscus with 36 minutes. He still played 36 minutes, even though he sat out that long time. Like, he still played 36 minutes on a torn meniscus. That knee is swollen right now.
Yes.
I don't care what nobody is saying. That's a tough injury because you're day to day. You're day to day. You have no idea. You can wake up, it's killing you. And you're playing at the highest level. There's no excuses if he has no injury at all. I'm having a whole different conversation right now.
Oh,
I'm having a whole different conversation.
Absolutely.
I would also say.
We trying to wait for you to say something though.
He knew that his shot was not falling in the beginning, and he kept shooting the jump shot. So that means you got to get down low and try to go and get at least a little closer. Your Jay wasn't hit.
Yeah, it wasn't. And that was one of the issues. I think even the announcers claimed that as well. They were like, You know, you got to stop taking those outside shots. You got to get down back on the block, get fouled, go to the line, slow the game down, right? I mean, that's what didn't happen. Wayne, I feel you. I was going to ask the same thing. I thought Maxey needed to play more tonight. I think this was a game where we needed that energy because, again, Joe didn't have it. So we needed somebody. I was a little surprised he didn't play. I thought he fell in love with Korkmaz too much. Just my opinion. I mean, listen, Kork's in the playoffs.
That big three that got out to him.
Here's the thing: 7 to 10 minutes of Kork is all I want. How many minutes did he play tonight, Al?
25.
That's way too much. And at one time, he was guarding Trae Young.
Yes.
He was guarding Trae Young. That dude can't guard me. He can't guard me, and I'm terrible. So I don't know why he's out there guarding. So that's a problem. That's a problem.
And to Wayne's point, Maxey, but see, Max, you got to understand Maxey's game. Maxey's not a come in and get hot. He's a come in and streaky hot player. So you can't come in streaky hot if you only play 7 minutes. True. He played 7 minutes and scored 3 points tonight. So to me, you need a good 10, 12, 14 minutes for this guy. And that's his max. That's totally his max. So Wayne makes a great point there, but I'm gonna tell you right now.
Here we go. Here we go. Yo, listen, man. I don't know if that's your, because that looks like that picture looks like an extra from Grey's Anatomy. So I'm not sure if that's really what it is right now. I'm just calling you out like that. But yo, cause your team gave us everything, and it was only 3 points better. That's it. You blew your load again, man. Listen, we all been saying Sixers and 6. I know I didn't jump on the Sixers and 5 wagon. I've been saying Sixers and 6. A lot of people say that. They split the game. This is what they're supposed to do. Even though we lost, you're supposed to split the away series. And they did exactly that. Now they're going to come home and take care of business. Your boy Trae Young, who I will say is definitely a candidate for the NBA All-Ugly team, but he definitely throws up crap and hopes that it's 6. Half the time, John Collins, if he wasn't getting dunks, would have had nothing. Okay, Bogdanovich, was 4 for 12 in the second half. Stop with this Hawks #1, man. Stop. It's no match. I'm getting excited. I don't even know why. I got some dude who I don't even know if it's a real picture sitting there killing me.
Yeah,
I'm not. Man, come on, man. Come on. I'm just playing with you, though. I'm just playing.
Listen, Trae Young. I don't know, but I'll tell you this, because sometimes you got to give props for props. This dude played 40 minutes tonight. He gave you 25 and 18, man. Otis Nixon's son.
Yeah. Otis Nixon.
Yo, wow. That's a bust out right there. Otis Nixon.
He pulled that out of the.
Yeah.
Otis Nixon's son.
Oh my God. I will say, listen, Andre, I want to answer this. And Adele, absolutely, man, absolutely. Much respect. We're all having fun. But Adele, what I will say is your boy cries way too much, man.
Yes. Dude, I tweeted that out.
I never realized how much Trae Young cried.
Just crying about every little thing. When he gets the foul, after he gets the foul, before he gets the foul. I mean, dude, like, come on. Can you play ball, man? You just looking to create the foul instead of making a shot like this. He wore me out. And it only been, 4 games? Like, come on, dude. Play ball.
I got to say this. Come on. It was B-Ball Paul's birthday today, man. Listen, Doc could have put him in for a couple minutes, though. Like, it's your birthday, bro. You got to get a couple minutes in the game on your birthday. I love Doc. Happy birthday, B-Ball Paul. We love you. But get in the game for your birthday. It's your birthday. Even if it's, listen, Maxey only got 7 minutes.
That last comment might be true, man, because it was a lot of. How about the Trae missed the shot, ended the shot, and he missed the shot. We got the rebound. He's laying on the floor, and we have the ball going up the other corner of the court. What? Mm-hmm. We already had the ball. What? How you call that?
It's horrible.
come on. It's just so many questionable calls in this game. Just a little home cooking.
It was a horrible call, man. That was one of the things I was like, hold up, we already got the ball.
Right.
What are we doing?
And that's 2 points right there.
And that's the ref you just cussed out like a quarter.
Right.
Yeah. Right. With the.
Yeah, you told me, he's like,
come on, man, with the goggles. Stop.
And then he gave you the call because you laying on the floor because you hit the stanchion, and now you're looking like you folded up. I didn't like
and holding his head like he was bleeding.
All I know is Adele. Listen, man. Thanks for popping in. As always, much respect. I agree. All in good fun, but there's no way you guys are taking one in Philly. Just throwing that out there. There ain't no way in hell.
The series. Excuse me. The Sixers are going to win the series. It's just that it's frustrating to us as fans because when you lose a game like this type of game, when you up by 18 at one point, you struggle to the half. You struggle to get to the half because Atlanta did a great job. You got to give props when it's due, right? Atlanta did a great job closing out the first half. We come back in the third. We look a little off. The rotation gets bad. So it's totally a total team loss. That's the only thing I was getting at. This was a total team loss. But Atlanta didn't play a stellar game anyway. And that's why I was like, hold on. Atlanta's not even like they look average at best. Trae Young seemed like he was the only person that came to play. He played 40 minutes. He gave you 18 assists and 25 points. I mean, that's somebody who came to play. I don't care who you are in the NBA. If 40 minutes, 25 points, 18 assists, you're responsible for a lot of points that went up on that scoreboard. So, like all them other guys, they're not even close. That's the other thing. They're not even close. Lou Williams is clearly a shell of himself. And I really don't understand what the deal is with that. I know his game didn't drop off that much where he plays limited minutes. It can't possibly that you got Herter starting over you. And Colin, I don't get it, but that's McMillan. I mean, that's his coaching style.
I think that's his age right there, and they know that he can't defend at all. Yeah. And so they probably rather get Horner at least get some scoring from him more than you're going to get from Lou at this point, and then let just Lou come off and see if he can get hot. I'm assuming. I have no idea. You're right, though.
Oh, for sure.
Now, Wayne, thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. First time, long time. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Al's our Facebook guy, so Al, go look for that group and share our videos in there, man, so everybody can get on that. We appreciate that. Always pop in, man. Every Sunday night, right here, knock it down 8:15.
Wayne, post what group it is, and I'll make sure I'll send a share to you. Now, what I will say, let's bring on this point because obviously, man, this is late night for everybody. Everybody, we're not going to sit here for hours on hours with the game's already over. But one thing, I want to ask you guys something because I'm a little concerned about Joel, and I do think that something was bothering him 100%, and I don't think it was just a knee. I got a bad feeling he doesn't play the next game. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm just going to throw it out there. You never know. So let me just say, and this is just complete gut feeling, just the way he was walking, just the way, like Andre said, man, those meniscus, man, that could blow up. You never know. That's why he's a game time decision every single game. And that's why we all talked about don't waste the 39, 40 point efforts because you never know when he's not going to be there during these playoffs. So Andre, go to you first. If Joel Embiid is not able to play in Game 5, is your confidence level still at an all-time high that we're going to close that series out, or are you concerned that this could go 7 games?
No, I'm naturally concerned. He is our centerpiece. I mean, let's just be honest. Like Joel Embiid is the difference between the Sixers being a good team and a great team. It's really not that hard for me to even go either way. So 2 weird things happened in this game today. One, Joel Embiid went back to the locker room with Elton Brand, which was kind of weird to me.
Yes.
All right. So and the second thing that happened is that I've never seen Joel Embiid lose his cool like he did, and whoever was in the stands shut the F up and all this stuff on national television. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know what technically is going on with Joel. Physically, we know about his knee. If he doesn't play in Game 5, which I think he's still going to play in Game 5, but if he doesn't play in Game 5, then I would be more concerned if we were in Atlanta than we are in Philly. Okay, because that's Game 5 here in Philly without Joel. I have confidence in our bench, because our bench even though we have a lot of sporadic scoring off the bench, we did have 22 plus points off the bench tonight. So,
yep.
So to me, I'm not too concerned. If we were in ATL without Joel, I would be extremely concerned.
Now, the one thing I will say, and I'm not going to turn this into a hate on Ben Simmons show, but the one thing I'll say about exactly what you're talking about, Andre, is something that, you guys were talking me off the ledge for in the beginning of the year when I said, when it's time for Ben to have to step up, right, is he able to do it? Is he able? Because if Joel doesn't play in Game 5 or 6 or whatever it is, it's going to take not only the bench, it's going to take Ben Simmons is going to have to play an integral part. And I know he had a decent game tonight, but we needed more from him in the second half. So when you see your all-star teammate is not the same, right? You need to step it up just a little bit more. And I think he fell a little short tonight.
Yeah, well, see, I don't think he had a decent game tonight. And,
right.
And the reason why I say that is because, once again, you're an all-star. You got to understand situational basketball. And situational basketball is, like I mentioned earlier, when we knew they were in foul trouble and they were over the limit, you still got your 6'10" point guard not driving to the hole. Like that's when you go, oh, I think I might want to drive to the hole. And I get it. If you take the foul, so what? They're still in foul trouble. It stops the clock and you have an opportunity to put points on the board. I mean, we all know small details of the game, but at the same time, it is concerning to me. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care about close to a double-double. First of all, you didn't even get a triple-double. You had 11 points, man. You can't give me 11 points in 30-plus minutes, and you're my starting 6'10" point guard.
Right.
Like, Drew Holiday doesn't do that. Like, I mean, I'm not comparing the two, but I mean, shoot, we had Drew Holiday here for a while, right? So I guess there's things to me that I think that needs to be addressed, and it's an area of concern if you really think that the Sixers in Game 5 is going to play without Joel Embiid. That's a concern, major concern for me. However, it's a less of a concern if it's because we're in Philly. We were in Atlanta, it'd be a major concern.
Yeah, right. No, you're right. I like that point. Joshua checking in says, correct with Simmons. We should have done more ISO with Simmons. He should have took the ball himself more and took control. I completely agree. Right. Spot on. Completely agree. Again, so many times Ben he gets under the basket and stops and looks around and get rid of the ball. Bro, you're right there. You're 6'10". Like, why are we looking to pass the ball? He makes me nuts sometimes. This makes me nuts because they're the kind of opportunities we need. Now, I don't know, Al, do you think any of this is getting in his head with the foul shooting in the sense that he's thinking, you know what? If I'm going to get fouled, I'm not comfortable enough to make these shots. I need to get rid of this ball and give it to somebody else. Do you think that's playing into his decision-making?
No, I just think, I don't know, for some reason, it doesn't click in his head when he knows he needs to turn on the aggression. Like me and you would say, well, all right, JoJo's struggling tonight. I need to take more shots. I'm going to post up. Yo, get out. I want ISO over here. Give me the ball. I'm backing them down, and then you can take your shot and create or do whatever you want to do, and like he did in the last game. But for some reason, it doesn't click that he should do certain things at certain times. I have no idea why. You can't have 11 points when JoJo is struggling. That means take more shots, and if you miss them, you miss them. I'm not worried about you missing. I want you to take them. If you see Tobias was a little short, take them. You just got to do it. I don't think it's in his head about this foul shooting. I just think for some reason, I just don't get it. It doesn't click. He's got to have that all the time. And there's no reason for Doc to have to rip his face off at halftime to say, hey, be more aggressive in the second half. No, you should know that already. Come on, bro. Like, that's the stuff that frustrates me. You know I'm a Ben Simmons fan. I will rip his face off because he deserves it in certain situations.
I love it.
You have to tell him this. He knows this, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Yo, Al just gave him a come on, bro. Let's go, right? Come on, come on. No, Al, I feel you, man. I do. It's my listen. I love the guy too, but he frustrates the hell out of us. He really does. You're right. He should know that. Now, Vinny, I agree with Vinny right here. Andre, Doc manages without feel. Dwight played really well and barely saw the court in the second half. He's been coaching too long for that. And Andre, this is what I'm talking about in the sense that I know Joel is your MVP. I know he played 36 minutes, but I think in that second half, there was opportunities to give him a break and a breather because Dwight was playing well. He still only had 2 fouls. We know Dwight's going to come in and get fouls, but it's okay. He had the opportunity to do that. Why do you think he didn't do that?
Once again, I mean, that's why you got to tune in to Heat Ratio Sports. That's why you got to turn into Half Court Heat. We talked about this at least ad nauseum for 2 or 3, 4, maybe even 4 shows straight. We love Doc because of his relationships and how he can get the players to play, right? But his Achilles heel is situational basketball. Perfect example. Seth Curry was ridiculously hot in the first half. He had 17 points tonight. And then it's like we were looking for him in the second half. This dude had 17 points. And come on. Like, he came to ball. Now, I want to bring up a point that I said earlier in the season. Remember, if you guys remember, maybe it was around, I don't know, we were probably close to 20 games in it. And I said, you know what really concerns me, guys? That Ben is our third and could be possibly going into our 4th highest scorer on the team. That's a concern to me. It should be Joel, Ben, Tobias, Seth. It wasn't. It was Joel, Tobias, Ben, and Seth was averaging around the same points at the same time. I'm like, you can't have that with somebody that's playing 35 to 38 minutes a game and the ball is in his hand 80% of the time. And you can't do that. You have to average way more than 12 points a game. And that was when he was averaging around 12 a game. I couldn't believe it. I was like, now it's rearing its ugly head in the playoffs. I said, that's a major concern for me. You have to be the second leading scorer on the team. And every good team, you knew who the second leading scorer. Even Kawhi and Paul George. It's usually Kawhi and Paul George 1 and 2 in scoring, regardless if they win or lose. It's KD and Kyrie, regardless if they win or lose. I'm just saying, it's like some things are simple in the game of basketball. The simpler the game you make the game, the better situation the players will be in. That's the frustrating part about Doc's coaching. Now, I'm a big advocate of Doc. I love Doc being here. The Sixers is a totally different team with Doc here. We get it. It's his first year. I got to throw that out the window because he's a vet. He's a veteran coach. First year, like a Steve Nash or somebody like that. I'm not even having this conversation. But Doc is a veteran coach, and he's a good coach. But he did the same thing in LA. He coached Tobias in LA. Tobias was averaging 19.8 points a game. He averaged 20 points a game here. You would think that his game would be elevated or evolved to something different, but he resorted back to regular season Tobias Harris. He didn't come with playoff Tobias Harris. You notice. And again, Ben Simmons should be having the 20 points, the 25, the 22. So even if Joel is only scoring 17, 18 points, it should be Joel, Ben, Tobias, but it hasn't been, and I think they got too comfortable with the way it is.
I think it's a great point. Right. And this is the playoffs. It's a different style of atmosphere, right? The game is elevated. The competition is elevated. Everything is elevated, and unfortunately, Ben and Tobias are playing well tonight. I'll give Tobias it because he did have a good playoff in certain games, but Ben is just the same guy. I haven't seen him pick up any intensity whatsoever, and that's not. Listen, maybe that's just going to be Ben. I think we all have to like. I think we've said a couple of these episodes. Listen, don't expect too much. You won't be disappointed in the sense that know what he is, know who he is, know he's not going to change. So us continually biting at him, and it's not gonna matter. So my whole point, though, and Andre, we all talked about this. Al, we talked about this is when we're in the playoffs, and you're right, when we need that scoring ability, when we need him to step up, and he doesn't do it, it could be a detriment to our success. So this is something they really need to look in the mirror and figure out because if Joe's not going to be 100%, if Joe's not going to play a game here or there, it's got to be more than Tobias. It's got to be more than Seth. You can't listen when you start to rely on guys like Korkmaz, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I mean, honestly, maybe this is far-fetched, but relying on guys like Korkmaz to pick you up and Shake Milton is almost exactly what Atlanta is doing on their team. They're looking, Herder's got to keep them up. Bogdanovich has got to keep them up. They're not all-stars, right? So if they've got a bad game, they're not going to win. We cannot resort to that. We cannot resort to that. We're too good for that, Al. We're too good for that.
I would say that the things that we won the game with last game, we did not do in the second half to win this game. How many times can I probably say maybe twice Ben posted up the whole game? Maybe 3-4 times Tobias post somebody up and back them down. And when he did, he made the shot. Joe, half of his shots, maybe more than half the shots, were jump shots. You got to make it easy. They cannot stop us in the post. They cannot stop us off the dribble. So why don't you just do that as much as possible all game and then at least create off of that post to your open shots and to your shooters of Steph and Korkmaz or Thibault or whoever is out there or I can't even say Danny Green because he's out right now. And Shake. Mm-hmm. But go in the post and don't go out. That's us. That's the Sixers. So why I don't understand when it got tight, just do what's so reliable. I mean, it's not rocket science. It can't stop us. So I don't even know when last time Tobias even shot the ball in the fourth quarter. Did he even shoot in the fourth quarter at all?
Tobias? Well, he said Tobias, right?
Was short. I think he did shoot that one that went off the front of the rim, and that kind of told me when he shoots those. It kind of tells me when he's a little tired when he shoots those shots that come off short like that.
No, I completely agree. Vinny says Ben is not a killer. We would have seen it by now. And Ben is not a killer. I mean, look, man, rest in peace, Big Pun. You ain't a killer, right? So you could go back to that, and you're right. He's not a killer, right? I remember I say the same story all the time. One of my old places of employment when I was there at that time and Ben Simmons was drafted, one of the young tech guys went to LSU and went to school with Ben Simmons. And the first thing he said to me was, y'all ain't going to like him. So first thing he said, y'all ain't going to like him. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, trust me. He don't care, man. He listen, you ain't gonna like him in Philly. He an LA guy. That's all I kept saying. So I always laugh, and every time, because I keep in touch with the guy on Facebook, he'll hit me up like, yo, I told you ain't gonna like him, right? So it's just too funny. It's just too funny that sometimes things work out that way. But
I mean, as far as aggressiveness and not shots, that's the part that we have a problem with. But yeah, 0 turnovers tonight, and he had 12 rebounds and 9 assists. So the aggressiveness is the only thing that we have a problem with because he's doing everything else, plus playing Trae Young the whole game. So and by the way, congratulations on your first team. At least they gave him a little bit of respect on being first team all defensive like he should have been. And Thibault and Embiid on second team was excellent. But
Yeah.
so it's not being aggressive and taking enough shots. That's what we have the problem with. But everything else, I mean, what can you say about everything else? And 0 turnovers tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Josh says Doc is the most to blame here, not the players. We have a right. We have the right players, just the wrong coach calling a play. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think this was a collective loss tonight. A questionable calls by Doc, obviously, but also a lack of aggressive for certain players, and we just didn't make the shots when we should have made them. So I mean, it's simple as that. I think it just comes down to aggression. It really does. I've seen that word scrolling through the comments repeatedly tonight, and I think you're right. We lacked aggression in the second half. We needed to pick up our big man when he was hurting, and we lacked that. We did not do that. We failed in that attempt, and that's why, in my opinion, we lost this game.
Yeah.
How about the aggression just on the last shot alone? On the last shot alone, the aggression was horrible because Shake, when you send the ball backing up, just shoot it and bury it. That's what he should have did. So the aggression right there on the last play.
I completely agree. Just like that.
Go ahead.
I completely agree. Get Andre.
No, that last comment was spot on. I disagreed as far as it's all Doc's fault, because it's not all Doc's fault. But there's been several games where his rotation was questioned because Doc played, I don't know, Doc played 11 players tonight, right? And 5 of the bench players all played 10 plus minutes. So if you're not getting any production of five of the 6 bench players all played 10 plus minutes. So you're not going to get anything out of, if you're not going to get anything out of them, why keep them in there that long? Like George Hill, somebody made a comment about George Hill. George Hill played 13 minutes tonight and gave us 2 points.
Yes. What happened there?
Yeah, like he didn't earn it. He didn't he played 13 minutes tonight. Like what are we doing? That's not situational basketball. Like I think they're tonight, if you're going to blame Doc about anything, I think it's the rotation and the number of minutes that were played. And if our big man is questionable and he's hurt, you got to get the guys rolling. You get the guys rolling by you're not taking them in, taking them out, taking them in, taking them out. And you're supposed to know your players. Like, we know what Maxey did. Did Doc fall in love with Shea because he had the big game? I think he did a little bit.
I think so, too.
I think he did. Because excuse me, but you didn't fall in love with him enough to start him. And that's the part that's questionable. You fell in love with him, but not enough to start him. Because when you start with Korkmaz, you're like, wait a second. You start with Korkmaz and over Hill or Thibault? Because you had success when you started Thibault. Why would you switch that? What was different? When Thibault started the other day, you guys were successful. You're not going to do the same thing today. Why'd you switch it up?
Yeah, it was a really weird thing that happened there, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute, did he fall in love with Shea because he had that really good game? Because we talked about on this show that maybe George Hill and Maxey was actually Shake insurance, and then all of a sudden, Shake is playing more minutes, and I get it. I mean, listen, but I think he came in right. He had the drive and won, which he looked really good. Hit the 1-3, looked good, but then he kind of got cold and he kind of disappeared. So I think, I think somebody said in the comments, the feel from Doc Rivers was lacking in the sense that you got to know game flow. And right there, if he ain't got, okay, that's when you get him out and you put the young boy back in. Right? Okay, you went on the hot streak. It's over now. He went cold, so now you got to change it up. So I completely agree. But look, let's do this because again, this is a late night, good game. I mean, it was a good game. It's a good playoff game. Sucks that they lost, but it was a good game. I mean, I was entertained. Listen, I know we can't win them all, man. We can't win them all. But Al, go right to you. Game 5. Game 5, what has to happen? What's going to happen? What are you thinking?
Which is the easy game plan. Post up everybody. Post up JoJo, post up Ben, and post up Tobias and drive to the hoop and kick off of that if you want to, or take your own shot. I see another. The theme is 16 points. I see 16 points or more in this game. And come back to ATL and finish this off and be done with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm tired of them already. I'm done. Let's get rid of these boys. We can't afford to keep messing around with these dudes. Let's finish them.
I like it. Post up, Al. Post up, Andre. What you got for Game 5?
I think Game 5, we're going to see a pretty much a replica of Game 3. I really do. I think Game 5 here at the center is going to be rocking. I think we're doing about, 20,000 fans right now, or if it's fully open, something like that, it would be 22. It's going to be rocking. But to Al's point, we got to show up big. We're big in the paint. We got to show up in the paint. Post everybody up. Go strong. Be extremely aggressive. And blow them out early. We have to blow them out early because for a lot of reasons. One, now the rotation is not questioned. That's number one, because that's how you handle that. You let the starters get a great lead, and then you hope, let the bench players keep the lead going. But the bottom line is you got to blow them out early for several reasons. This loss tonight hurt for me because I'm looking at the other games that are playing on the Eastern Conference, and they're tied up 2-2. The whole goal was for us to be finished early so we can rest and get healthy. A healthy Sixers team is a dangerous team and a hard team to beat. A healthy Sixers team. So that's why I'm more frustrated on that we missed the opportunity to close it out at home on Wednesday, because that's when we should have been closing it out. But we get to go home. We still got 2 out of 1. We still got 2 games at home for the rest of the series. But definitely post them up, blow them out early, get the game over with early. And that's the only way it has to go. Atlanta is not playing the Sixers because they're a bad team. They're just not. It's just frustrating because we know we're a much better team. And I don't know what message Doc is going to give them in the locker room, but he needs to wake a few of the guys up and go, we need to put these guys away early. We showed that we can do it. Tonight was frustrating again because we're up by 18 points at one point, and we didn't keep our foot on the gas. We didn't do it. We just kind of let up a little bit. We kept missing shots. They were making shots, and they were terrible from percentage-wise and all through the stat line. I tell people, go look at the box score. Go look at the stat line. This game was uglier than it appeared on television.
Yes.
Okay. So we got to blow them out early. That's the key, to come out and jump on them, and don't even give them a chance to even think about it. They're going to don't even make them feel that they can win that game. That's it.
I agree. What I'll say in closing is, I don't care about the first quarter. I don't care about the second quarter. I don't care about the fourth quarter. The game will be won in the third quarter. Every single game is won and lost in the third quarter. And listen, I know our good friend Chill Moody said Sixers in 4, and then we went to Sixers in 5. I'm obviously we're gonna go Sixers in 6. It's gonna be like the 4 horsemen plus 2 when they added Mongo, McMichael, and D Malenko. So I'm going Sixers in 6. And if many people may not know that reference, but I'm a wrestling guy. So I'm going no more 4. We're going 6. Sixers in 6, right?
I know that reference.
That's what we got. But listen, man, it's been great for everybody checking in. I apologize. 185 comments on the side. I didn't get through them all. I tried to get through them. We did have, for anybody that was watching on Facebook, for some reason about 10 minutes ago, it got disconnected. Not sure what happened, but we were still live on Periscope. We're still live on Twitter, YouTube, and personal Facebook pages. But as always, man, to be up with us and to feel the same kind of energy, and we had some new people checking in, which was fantastic. As always, Adam checking in. As always, great show, guys. Go Sixers. Yeah, absolutely. Vance getting in late on Twitch. It's a wonder Doc didn't play the waterboard tonight. He played everybody except Andre's boy, B-Ball Paul. Right. He didn't get in on his birthday, so that's a violation.
That's a violation.
That is a violation. But anyway, Tony J. Socotillo, Andre Johnson, Al Griffin, Half Court Heat Ratio Sports. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you after Game 5.